Right, so what we're going to move on to today is an introduction of sequences. When you think about sequences, you think about patterns of numbers. Now, it's just an introduction. So we're going to learn the basics of how to identify a pattern in numbers. And this part of the C-STEC question, there's no way of me really teaching you. You just have to be able to observe and use a lot of logic and thinking through with regards to working out this question, right? So sequence of numbers, right? So a sequence's numbers are patterns of numbers separated by commas that follows a mathematical rule. So when we say follow a mathematical rule, you're going to have to add something or subtract something or divide something in order for you to realize your pattern, right? So example, we have a pattern here. -6, -4, -2, 0, 2, etc. Now from watching my pattern, I will see that my pattern is increasing by 2. Increasing, yes, I said increasing, because remember, the bigger the negative number, the smaller it is. Or if we go back to the number line, which we would have learned, the number on the right-hand side is larger than the number on the left. So this would be larger than this number. -2 would be larger than -4. 0 will be larger than -2, 2 will be larger than 0. So our number line heading this way is increasing by 2. So every time I add 2, that's my next term. So I add 2, add 2, add 2, add 2. So if I add 2 here, my next term will be 4. Add 2 here, my next term will be 6. Add 2 here, my next term will be 8. If you want, you can put it in your calculator and you'll see -6 add 2 gives me -4. -4 add 2 gives me -2. So this sequence, increasing by 2, the mathematical rule is to add 2. So this is the first term of the sequence here. This is the second term, third term, fourth term, fifth term, sixth term, seventh term, eighth term, right? So T9, term 9 will be 8 plus 2, which is 10. T10 would be 10 plus 2, which is 12, and we could continue the pattern until, right? Our second.
The whole line will be known as term of sequence, so it's just that little part, the little sections.
So in this particular example here, this will be our term 1. 5 is term 1. 2.5 is term 2. 1.25 is term 3. 0.625 is term 4, etc. Yes?
Yes, miss.
All right, so with this particular question here, they ask to state the rule being used to obtain a term in the sequence of numbers. So state the rule. So in other words, how to get my following number. So from watching the sequence again, you as an individual will have to watch it and observe it and try to figure out how I'm getting my term on the right. So how did I get 2.5 from 5? If we look at it clearly, 5 divided by 2. So term 1 is 5. Term 2, it looks like 5 divided by 2, which is 2.5. Then term 3 looks like 2.5 divided by 2, which is 1.25. And term 4 looks like 1.25 divided by 2, which is 0.625. So term 5 will be 0.625 divided by 2. So all they want is the rule. So our rule is, we could say, term n minus 1 divided by 2. Now, what is n minus 1? N minus 1 means the number before. So if your number is n, the number before it is, if your number is n, the number before it will be n minus 1. So if your number is 3, the number before 3 is 3 minus 1, which is 2. Right? So that's why I put n minus 1. So it means the term before divided by 2 will give me my current term, Tn. Let me just write this over. My rule is saying Tn is equal to Tn minus 1, the number in front of me, divided by 2. This is the rule of my sequence. So I know that we are getting all mathsy, and that's the direction we go in. So I hope that you're understanding. Once you're understanding this, you're off to a good start, right? So this is the term that we're going to find. In order to find that term, we have to use the term in front and divide it by 2. So in order to find this term, we have to use this term and divide it by 2. In order to find this term, we have to use this term and divide it by 2. In order to find this term, we have to use this term and divide it by 2. All right, so a ratio is a comparison of the sizes of two or more quantities, right? So when we think about a ratio, we think about one particular quantity being broken up and described accordingly. So we have a box on the screen there that has 6 parts. Let's pretend it's 6 equal parts. So they are saying the ratio is 2 to 6. That ratio is 2 to shaded and 6 to total. So the ratio of shaded to total would be 2 to 6. Now, if I wanted to say something else instead of 2 to 6, let's say I wanted to say the ratio of shaded to unshaded. So this little colon here means 2, right? So shaded to unshaded, that would be 2 to 4 because 2 is shaded and 4 is unshaded. Now, if I want the ratio of unshaded to shaded, unshaded to shaded, that would be 4 to 2. 4 unshaded to 2 shaded, right? If I wanted the ratio of unshaded to total.
Yes, I didn't get that one.
That was unshaded to shaded. So that was 4 to 2. Unshaded to total would be 4 to 6. Yeah? Yeah. Unshaded, counted 1, 2, 3, 4, total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, colon 2. Right? So that's how we basically use our ratios to describe what is really happening. So let's move on to a little more exciting stuff, right? So if I want to simplify my ratios, but before we get to simplifying, let's do another example. So in a cricket club, so a cricket club has 50 members, right? 28 are female. So I want the ratio of female to male members. What would that be, somebody? Female to male.
Is it 28 to 50?
So 28 to, what they ask for, female to male. Females are 28. How many males are there?
I'm guessing 50 minus 28.
50 minus 28. Right? Because the remainder would have to be males, right? So 28 to 22. That's the ratio of female to males. Nice. So what if I want the ratio of males to total? What would that be? You have to see the full screen? No? Can you all see the full screen? Or stop missing? Right, so male to total would be what? 22 to 50. Yeah? And then female to total would be 28 to 50. Right? Nice and simple explaining ratios. Okay, well, let's do some simplification of ratios now, right? So remember simplification from when we were doing fractions, it just means carry it to the lowest term. So they said simplify $6 to 30 cents in its lowest term. In its lowest term. So the first thing we have to do is make sure they are in the same type of measurement, same quantity, right? So we have to make sure and put this, either put the dollars to cents or put the cents to dollars. So it makes more sense to put the dollars to cents, right? So same quantity or measurement. So what we're going to do is change dollars to cents. So how much will be $6 as cents? How many cents are there in a dollar? So 600 cents, because every $1 is 100 cents, right? So 600 cents to 30 cents. And if we have to simplify it, we're going to divide throughout by numbers until we get the smallest quantity. So 30 could go into 30 and 30 could go into 600. So let's divide by 30. Of course, you could choose different numbers until you get down to the smallest, but try to look for the biggest number that could go into them, right? So that will be 20 and 20 to 1. So 600 divided by 30 is 20 to 1. So 20 cents to 1 cent is the simplified ratio for $6 to 30 cents. Any questions there? Let's do 35 cents to $2.25.
Yes, if we could, as now on use the example, you see like you put 30 on each side. Could we have drawn a long line like if we was doing LCM and just put it all over 30?
You don't really have to put in that particular working. You just have to know that you're dividing it. So no, the long line is not necessary. Again, remember, I show you all the basics, but you don't need to go and put dividing here and dividing here, right? That's just me showing you all what you are expected to do,
Okay.
right? So 35 cents. Of course, we have to change 225 to cents, so that will be 225 cents, right? That's $2, that will be 225, 225. So let's find numbers that we can divide by. I'm already watching this and I'm thinking 5. So I'm going to divide by 5 on both sides. 35 divided by 5 is 7 cents. And 225 divided by 5 is 45. And I think that's the smallest number. I don't think anything else could go into them. So therefore, our ratio is 7 to 45. Tiffany and Makeda, you're following.